Carol Burnett, born April 26, 1933 in San Antonio, Texas, is an enduring icon of American entertainment. With her infectious smile, infectious humor, and soulful acting, she has captivated millions through her work on The Carol Burnett Show, her Broadway appearances, and her endless contributions to film and television. At 92, Carol's life has been a roller coaster, intertwined with the glitter of fame, heartbreak, tear-jerking struggles, and passionate yet tragic loves. From a poor girl growing up in poverty to a star honored with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, Carol Burnett's story is a testament to resilience, passion, and an open heart. This article will explore the greatest sadness of her life, her glorious and challenging career, her relentless pursuit of success, her love and marriage, her relationship with her children, her husband Brian Miller's account of her grief, and a conclusion about the legacy of one of the century's greatest artists. The greatest sadness of Carol Burnett's life was the loss of her eldest daughter, Carrie Hamilton, in 2002 from lung cancer. Carrie, Carol's daughter with her second husband Joe Hamilton, was not only her pride and joy, but also her confidant. From a young age, Carrie showed artistic talent, inheriting her mother's creativity and passion. She pursued an acting and musical career, starring in plays and writing soulful songs. However, Carrie's life was not easy. She battled drug addiction in her teenage years, a challenge that left Carol heartbroken as she watched her daughter struggle with darkness. Carol supported Carrie relentlessly, taking her to rehab centers and spending hours talking to her, encouraging her to find meaning in life. When Carrie finally overcame her addiction, built a career, and found happiness, lung cancer struck like a fateful blow. At the age of 38, Carrie passed away, leaving Carol with an unfillable void. She shared in her autobiography, One More Time, that every day after Carrie's death, she felt like a part of her heart had been ripped out. Her dreams of seeing Carrie grow old, have a family of her own, or continue to shine on stage were shattered. This pain was not only the loss of a mother, but also the regret for the moments she and Carrie no longer had the chance to share. Although Carol always appeared with a bright smile in public, this sadness remained a persistent darkness, following her throughout the remaining years of her life. Carol Burnett's career is a story of talent, perseverance, and a relentless drive to overcome the barriers of her time. Born into poverty in San Antonio, Texas, Carol grew up in harsh circumstances. Her parents divorced when she was young, leaving her in the care of her grandmother, Mabel White, whom she affectionately called Nanny. Her father, an alcoholic, and her mother, an aspiring but unsuccessful writer, did not provide her with a stable childhood. The small Hollywood apartment where Carol and her grandmother lived was often cramped, but it was in this environment that Carol found solace in the arts. She frequented the movies, watching Shirley Temple and Judy Garland films, dreaming of one day standing in the spotlight. Her grandmother, despite her lack of money, encouraged Carol to pursue her passion, even taking her to stage performances when she could. Carol's big break came when she received a scholarship to the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA. There, she began to hone her acting and musical theater skills. After graduating, she moved to New York in the 1950s, where she faced her first struggles as a young artist. New York was a tough city, where actors had to compete fiercely for roles. Carol worked odd jobs, from a department store clerk to a theater ticket taker, to make ends meet while auditioning. She often felt lonely and doubted herself, but her perseverance helped her persevere. In 1959, her role in the Broadway musical Once Upon a Mattress brought her the first attention. Her role as Princess Winifred, with her humor and explosive energy, endeared her to audiences, opening the door to a television career. In 1967, The Carol Burnett Show debuted on CBS, marking a milestone in American television history. The show, which ran from 1967 to 1978, was a cultural phenomenon, combining comedy, musicals, and improvisation. Carol, with the support of talented actors such as Harvey Korman, Tim Conway, and Vicki Lawrence, created an entertaining space where audiences could laugh out loud, cry with emotion, and feel the sincerity. Each episode of the show began with a live Q&A with the audience, where Carol showed her intimacy and natural humor. Her voice impersonations, skits like Went with the Wind, and her improvisational skills made the show a classic. The Carol Burnett Show earned her 23 Emmy Awards, 5 Golden Globes, and a Grammy, cementing her status as one of the greatest comedians of all time. But Carol's career path was not a smooth one. In her early years, she faced gender bias in the entertainment industry. Many producers believed that a woman could not lead a successful comedy show, and she was turned down for opportunities because of her gender. She recalls that an executive once told her outright that comedy was a man's domain. Those words, though painful, motivated her to prove otherwise. She worked tirelessly, often staying late into the night to perfect her routines, and she cried in her dressing room more than once because of the pressure to keep the show perfect. There were days when she felt exhausted, wondering if she had the strength to continue. Carol's biggest career failure came in the 1980s, when she tried to launch Carol and Company, a new comedy show that was intended to replicate the success of the Carol Burnett Show. However, the show was not well received by audiences and was canceled after 2 seasons. This failure left Carol in a state of self-doubt. She has shared that there were nights when she sat alone in her Los Angeles apartment, watching old episodes of the Carol Burnett Show, and crying because she felt like she had lost her shine. She wondered if audiences still loved her, or if her time had passed. But Carol did not let the failure define her. She continued to participate in stage projects, played Miss Hannigan in the film Annie, 1982, and appeared in television shows such as Mad About You and Glee. These roles, while not as high as the Carol Burnett Show, proved that her talent was eternal. Carol's efforts did not stop with acting. She also wrote autobiographies, such as One More Time and This Time Together, in which she shared her life story with honesty and humor. These books are not only success stories, but also confessions of hardship, from her impoverished childhood to her professional and personal struggles. Writing was her way of dealing with her pain, and she has said that there were nights when she sat at her typewriter, tears falling onto the page as she recalled difficult moments. These efforts, though tearful, helped her connect more deeply with audiences, who saw her as more than just a star, but also a human being. Carol Burnett's accomplishments are not just about fame or awards, but also about her ability to bring joy and inspire millions of people. She wants to be remembered as someone who made the world a better place, even if it was just through a smile or a moment of emotion. In a career spanning more than 7 decades, she has won 6 Emmys, 5 Golden Globes, a Grammy, and the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2005, one of America's highest honors. She also received the Mark Twain Prize for American Comedy in 2013, in recognition of her contributions to popular culture. But for Carol, her greatest achievement is her ability to connect with an audience. She once said, "If I can make one person laugh or make them feel better on a bad day, that's the most rewarding thing." Carol also constantly seeks to reinvent herself. At 70, she is still working on new projects, from writing her autobiography to appearing on modern TV shows like Better Call Saul and Palm Royale. She also established a scholarship fund in her name at UCLA to support art students, a way to give back for the opportunities she received. She regularly gives talks at universities, sharing her experiences and encouraging the younger generation to pursue their dreams. For Carol, success is not only about what she has achieved, but also about what she can bring to the next generation. She wants her legacy to be more than just TV shows or roles, but a spirit of never giving up despite all the difficulties. Carol Burnett's love and marriage are emotional, but also sad. She has gone through 3 marriages, each of which has left a deep mark on her life. Her first marriage was to Don Saroyan, an actor, in 1955. They met while both were students at UCLA, and their love blossomed during their difficult years in New York. However, the marriage ended in 1962, when they realized they had different goals in life. Although the separation was amicable, Carol felt a deep sadness over her failure as a wife. She has said that when she divorced Don, she felt like a failure, even though she knew it was the right decision for both of them. Carol's second marriage to producer Joe Hamilton lasted from 1963 to 1984. Joe was her companion during the peak years of The Carol Burnett Show, and they had 3 children, Carrie, Jody, and Aaron. Initially, their marriage was filled with love and support. Joe, with his experience in the entertainment industry, helped Carol shape her show, and together they built a happy family. However, the pressures of work and personal disagreements gradually cracked their relationship. Joe struggled with alcoholism, a problem that caused Carol to face long and stressful nights. The marriage ended in 1984, leaving Carol deeply saddened. She once said that her div